I'm a shooter, a drastic baby. I'm a thinker, I could break it down. I'm a shooter, a drastic baby. I'm a thinker, I could break it down. I'm a shooter, a drastic baby. I'm a thinker, I could break it down. I'm a shooter, a drastic baby. I'm a thinker, I could break it down. I'm a shooter, a drastic baby. I'm a thinker, I could break it down. I'm a thinker, 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 thinker. I'm a thinker, I could break it down. I'm a shooter, a drastic baby. I'm a thinker.
Well, one failure already, but you know, that's what happens when you break things and put them all back together. Welcome. I'm not sure how long I'll be on tonight, but I'm gonna try and get some positive feelings after some messy stuff I've been dealing with the past few days. But welcome, one and all. Thanks for joining, and looks like we got some good friends here. Dr. Daniel Chen is here. Hello. Oh, you're doing dissertation revisions. Oh, I feel it. Brings back the memories, many years ago. And Tan, hello. Boy, every time I think I like, you always never cease to amaze me, Tan. You've now made a shiny app for this craze that's taken over our Twitter's verse. The Wordle? Is that how to say it? You made a shiny app already. Kudos to you. And it looks like there's another one that's made another app as well, if I read the tweets correctly. Is it Wordle? Yeah, Wordle. Yep. Crazy. I don't know. Is that how y'all say it? Is it Wordly? It sounded like Wordle to me. I've never heard anybody say it live yet. So anyway, yeah, good job on that. If I'd not had such a, I'm going to say a pun here, catastrophes, literally in the last 3 days, I would have had some time to maybe put some thought into it. So, well, we got some, we got a Daniel, a good question here. And by the way, my OBS setup is not quite up to snuff yet. In fact, yep, I see what happened. Anyway, let me cue something up here for a second. Bear with me. I forgot to enable stuff. Okay. So Daniel has a great question. He's assuming I've talked with Garrick about the Shiny Learning project. Actually, I have not. I would love to do it though. Maybe I'll send him a note or something. But yeah, maybe he'll be interested in learn more about it. So thank you, Daniel. I will take that as something to work on later this week, perhaps. So for those that aren't aware, Garrick also works at our studio. Even before that, I use a ton of his packages. He's been really proficient in our Markdown space, the Sherigan space, and of course in Shiny and JavaScript as well. So I still have very fond memories of when I was in his JavaScript for Shiny users course a couple years ago at RStudio Conf, and blew me away with all the knowledge he has. So definitely look forward to talking with him more. All right, let's get going here. Let's see if my magic buttons still work. Yeah, exactly. So I could probably count on one hand that know both stacks so well. I feel like I'm getting close to that, but not quite yet, because there's a lot of our Markdown tricks that Garrick knows. Of course, Iway would know for sure. He's the architect of it all. That I still haven't quite grasped yet, although I've been doing some interesting stuff lately with parameters and automation on RStudio Connect. That's been really fun, but I got more to learn. So what did I have on the screen? Okay, it actually got it right. This part got right, because this has nothing to do with OBS. This is all my bash scripting for automation here. All right, I want to do one more test of OBS stuff. So why am I talking about OBS right now? It's because I have switched to a more traditional, well, sort of traditional Linux install of it, where my good friend from the Linux community, Martin Wimpress, has beefed up his OBS installation on Linux to be a little more, how do I say this, a little more integrated with the OS and take some advantages that the previous version that he got us lined up with, the Snap package, was lacking in, with some integrations with Twitch and YouTube and a boatload of other plugins. And while I'm on that note, hello Big Pod, thanks for joining. I know it's always late for you, but I am test driving Martin's supercharged OBS script, and if you ever want to see like where I hope to get someday in my Linux stuff, let me show you what Martin does. Let's go to my sorry, I know it's blinding. Hello dark mode, please, okay. Let me see, where can I find my OBS links? So Martin, as typical, he's a Bash wizard, so all this is in Bash, but he wrote this new installation script where it automates getting what's called a PPA in Ubuntu for OBS to get it kind of like the latest stable release, and put in a boatload of plugins. We'll get to, I'll just scroll here, but look at all these plugins here from different sources, and I'm not using all of them, but it's like now I have them all available, so if I start tweaking some things, I got them all in the install right now. And this is more themable. It'll be a lot more fun to work with than the Snap version was. So anyway, that's what Martin does best, and I am just an apprentice, if you will, trying to keep up with all of that. So all right, so issue tracker for Shiny Learning, but let's ensure that my rest of my OBS trickery hasn't failed. Let's do this one more time. You can probably guess something about the test here.
I hate losing.
I think that worked. Okay, good. I love that stuff. All right. So, sorry, let me get back up. I'm gonna make this a little smaller here. All right. Oh, yeah. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the chat. You have a great question. I'm always like talking about this stuff. Chris asks, what distro do you use, out of curiosity? So, well, Daniel remembers in previous talks or streams, I did use Arch long ago. But with life, I couldn't keep up with the updates, and I borked it a couple times. But I do recall it worked quite well on my Lenovo, actually, yeah, ThinkPad Carbon. Good times with that. So Chris, what I'm using now, I am actually using a mix of them, but on this box that I'm streaming from, it's called Pop OS, which is a Ubuntu, you might say, remix or derivative from the folks at System 76 who make my streaming PC that I'm on right now called Athelio. So I figured, well, they already put Linux on it, I might as well see how far I can get with it without, reinstalling it with something else. So I would say it's worked pretty well. There are some quirks with it, but that's more of the GNOME desktop, not so much Pop OS itself. So I've been having fun with it. I've got it pretty customized, and I have not upgraded it from what it was installed with on the machine. So that's based on the LTS, they call it, long-term support. So I'm getting updates for another couple years before I'll have to upgrade it to the next major release from Ubuntu and then Pop OS. So yeah, Big Pot, it is like Martin's version of OBS that we're using here, but it's, like I said, it's working well for me. Certainly, I think you said you'll hopefully get back to streaming soon, but if you do, let me know. I'll be glad to tune in from when I get a moment from work and following kiddos around. Well, Daniel's getting really geeky with us tonight with the system stuff. You're asking if I ever had to set up a rack mount server. I have one sitting on my parents' big table, and I haven't plugged it in yet. Not rack mount. All I've done is I built PCs. Like, in fact, I built my first PC back in undergraduate college. That's when I was a freshman, I believe. Because no, this is after that. No, I didn't build that one. I bought that used, and I just put Windows on it because I didn't know much better. But when my first year at grad school, which was, again, to date myself, 2003, I believe, I built my own PC because I was getting into some of the the games on PC, like FPSs and stuff like that, emulation. So I built that. I built a couple other PCs, one for my now wife when we got our house, and then I built like little things like a NUC and stuff. So I have not built a rack mount server. I've seen people do it. It does not look easy at all. So good luck with that. But certainly if you get that installed, let us know how it goes, because that can be really powerful, especially for self-hosting services on your local network. Yeah, so the loud beeping noise is probably a critical thing with either the BIOS or maybe something not loading correctly from the hard drive. So that may be worth checking out, but I know it's a bit painful to troubleshoot that stuff. But usually the beeps are a signal from the BIOS about something. So you'd have to check your motherboard's documentation to see, what's going on there. But yeah, I know that can be pretty crazy. So best of luck with that. Okay, so as usual, we got past or present me's got to figure out where past me left off here. Let's see, I always wonder. Actually, you know what? We're not going to use VS Code for this. I'm going to take a page out of Martin's book. We're going to look at what's called Git Kraken, which is a nice GUI program, cross-platform, for looking at Git repos locally and kind of seeing, more in a visual way what you've done in the past. So let's see. So we polished the snapshot function. We made a ton of progress on that, which was super fun. We added some minor flags to the app creation. And I feel like we're starting to get in pretty decent shape, although we probably have to beef up some testing stuff in the not too distant future as I start building stuff on top of it. So we're in a pretty good spot, but let's see on the issue tracker where we left off with. I was thinking about this in the car, because it seems like I do most of my critical thinking in a car these days. What are the most important things to tidy up here before we get an initial release? The snapshot function is definitely huge here, but I think there were some minor quirks that I need to revise here before I call that completely done. So let's go ahead and check that out. All right. I think what was happening was I was copying over a directory of the previous snapshot, but then it brought in like the old files in that directory where I didn't necessarily want that. So I think that's the key here. Seen some cool Linux chat. Big Pod's being very great with his feedback here. And by the way, I realize my chat overlay, it's hard to see some of the nicknames on here. I've actually I'm playing with a more self-hosted version of a chat overlay from the author of VDO Ninja. and it's actually looking pretty cool, but it's installed as like a Chrome-like extension, and then you can have like a custom chat that can work with Twitch, YouTube, even Zoom or Facebook Live. Like, he's done a bunch of good work on that, so maybe next time I'll give that a spin and try to theme it up so it's easier to read. So yeah. Ah yes, getting old hardware from either Craigslist or oh, what's this other site I heard on some podcasts recently, like Unix Surplus, something like that, where you can get like used server equipment for, you know, much cheaper than its, you know, new price. Still kind of pricey, but if you ever need like server-like hardware, I have to find a name for that somewhere. But yeah, the key is getting that OS installed so you can actually do something with that nice server you got there. Okay, so what I think is happening here is somewhere here I copy the directory. I just set up paths here. There it is. So at this step, I'm copying the snapshot that the user worked on, or the user said would be the basis of it. So I think what I want to do is after I copy that over, I want to, you know, it'd be the cleaner way. I was thinking just wiping out that R script that's part of it. What am I talking about here? Let me load our files pane and see. What did we do? I always forget which one did we leave off with. Let's get our fish shell here. It was Mega Man. Okay, so I think what I had seen before is like when we go to page 2, we still have page 1 there. But what I'm thinking we can do is, the easiest thing would be to move maybe that file, or rename that file already the way we want. And instead of creating a new one from scratch, we just rename the existing one and then overwrite its contents with the new stuff. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But we got to make sure we grab the right name of it so that we know which one to do, which I think we kind of do already with like current snapshot script. So I think I know what we have to do. We're just going to throw that git lens thing kind of annoys me sometimes. I'm going to throw a browser in here and we're going to do that. Yeah, the beeping codes, that's kind of what I was getting at a little earlier, is that might indicate what the error is, and sometimes it could be a straight up hardware failure and you're kind of sunk without getting a new motherboard. But it's scary. I know when I had like a wire not quite in properly, it would beep crazily and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I gonna blow it up? Yeesh. So it can definitely be a little nerve-wracking when you're doing this. So all right, so we're gonna get back to R here. We're gonna get this going. I wonder if it remembers my history of stuff. Oh, it kind of does. But unlike Art Studio, I don't think there's an easy way for me to search the history for what I did before. Ah, okay, here it is. Yep. Something like that. I just screwed up here. I'm just being lazy here. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna, in the spirit of Capcom sequels, we're gonna call this New Mega Man 2. Yep, got that. And then we're going to snapshot shining learning. Okay, this will be good enough for testing. Okay, good. We are here. So, current snapshot script. Yep, page 1, that's what we expected. So if we expand Mega Man 2, page 2, it still says page 1. So this is where all I want to do now is... I don't even think I need to change any of this. I just need to rename the file. So it's... hover. Okay. Rename the... previous snapshot script to the new snapshot. Okay, so I think this can be a FS file move. Yeah, this is what I want. Okay, so then this would be FS path new snapshot path, but it's current snapshot script. And then now it's going to be and then new snapshot script. Okay, let's see if this does it. Alright. And there we go. It was just that easy. Now, let's see if this actually works. Well, you know what? I wonder if I'm... Well, let's keep this up. I lost my train of thought for a second. If I'm just doing this, do I even need to bother with how fancy we made this? But I still like it, though. I think we still need it, so I'm just going to keep it there. We're just going to make sure this all works. Now, this should literally just override it after we get that. Oh, I need to, my rlang thing needs to be updated, I guess. Now, write lines, unless you specifically tell it to append. I think it's just going to override it. Guess we'll find out. Let's see. Let's look at what it is first before we override it. So right now it just has this. Now it should. Yep. Perfect. Perfect. So it just overrode it, which is exactly what I wanted. Close that up. And we got it. That was easy. So we didn't have to do any fancy schmancy stuff. We just had to remove the file. So Jeremy, how are you doing? I know you've been pretty busy with your looks like your new assignment, if you will, at our studio. But hope you're doing well, and I always enjoy the cat pics. I am a cat lover, so. Okay, Shiny Learning minor enhancements are working well. Now we're gonna make sure that works in the full stack. Very minor enhancement, but that hopefully gets the job done. Fill that up. Oh, we went too far, didn't we? Yeah, we're gonna go Mega Man 3 now. Sure that works. Yeah, I won't be on as long as usual tonight. First, I'm dead tired from literally 3 days worth of what I'll call Git catastrophes that I have. I've learned some cool stuff about Git, but boy, not the easy way to fix either some collaborators that borked PRs or merges, and figuring out one of the most esoteric shiny things I've ever done and what commit that I did to destroy it. So Git master, that's a good one too. I actually like that because yeah, so I've learned a lot. I may share a little bit if you all want to hear, but it was a doozy. So okay, we're gonna try this again. Should give me Mega Man 3. Page 2. Yep, that is done. Let's commit that. Alright, so that is sure, previous snapshot script is simply move the new snapshot. That should do it. Perfect. That makes me feel a lot better. This function's pretty good shape, I think. Just trying to anticipate other issues that might occur with this. We copy everything with page 1 into page 2. This whole thing is already there anyway, so that's not a big deal. And oh, this is where we left off. Yeah. We need to actually update this. So we're not done yet, but we finished a good chunk of it. Oh, just FYI, in case anybody was curious, that listens to my our weekly highlights podcast, we are actually recording an episode tomorrow. There's a bit of news about the project itself that I need to share. And well, I'll just leave it at that. But we'll be making sure that we get another episode out tomorrow. So things have happened, some good, some not so good, and we'll leave it at that. Okay, so this is what I need to figure out. We need to add a line here in the main app driver, and then basically duplicate this. So this is something, I'm not sure if Use This does this or other packages in R that have an elegant way of adding text to existing files. Like, I don't want to do the Rlang magic here because that's not important. It's more about if I know the type of line I want to add and the section I want it to put in, like what this should be, like what I want to add dynamically is simply something like this, like page 2, page 2.r, something like that. Like that's literally it. Whoops. And then similarly, these page, yeah, I know. I tend to do that sometimes, probably too much. I want the snippet to be just like this, but just page 2 instead. Page 2 UI, page 2 server. Now, I feel like if that text is standard, I should have like some script in here that's like got the wildcard placeholders like I did for the app itself, like this one right here. Oh no, this one did not have it. Sorry, it's not this one. It's the page. Was it? Yeah, this one here. Okay, okay, I got it. So I want, here we have like app title here, and then we had I guess that was it for this one. I gotta figure out which one is the more correct one to look at. Oh, they both are basically the same thing. I'll have to... Oh, that's because page 1 was always going to be the starting point when I do fresh. Okay, never mind. But I want something else here. This is interesting. How am I going to pull this off for like the app.r? Like, I could have a placeholder block here. Or some... Yeah. This is a bit odd. Or... You can see I've kind of thought myself in a corner here, figuring out how to make this both a template, but also work with the right syntax. Good night, Big Pod. Thanks for joining as always. And yeah, once again, I'll just say verbally what I sent to you on the Discord. Congrats again on joining Slim AI with Martin and Peter and all those good people. So good stuff. So Chris, you are thinking the similar thing that I've been wondering about, is if we do an R Markdown template with parameters, although that might be a bit odd to translate it back to a typical Shiny app file, but I feel like I need a functional approach to embed these dynamic chunks in a plain R script. And again, I know in general how we can do it here, where we have the in my other function, the create app based function, it would look for these placeholders and inject the value of stuff. Now it could be that yeah, that was the other thing, where it's like, instead of just sourcing these, and by the way, I'll highlight what Chris is saying. Yeah, good stuff, Chris. I mean, this is what I've done as well, especially in Shiny, where I have per either walk or map or even exec, and then have something list, maybe it's somewhere else, that it pulls from to re-execute that stuff. So in other words, could we make a function that basically would do everything like this? It would source the different like page modules based on maybe just page 1 or page 2 as the names. That seems doable, right? I mean, the key would be the sourcing of it would have to work in the global environment of the app itself. If you do it in a map call or per in general, it might only be sourced in the function environment and not brought back upstream. Let me just look at the... Although it might be worth a try here if this actually works. I know you can do source local equal true or false. So if local, we can look at that. Okay, so this is how they source a bunch of files from a directory. So they list the files. In fact, this might be the way to go. If we just source, but it's, well, if we're strict on what these directories are called, we can just do kind of like what Daniel and Tan and others were talking about a couple weeks ago. We could do just a reg or a string manipulation to see how many directories have page in their name. And then if we detect there's like 2, 3, 5, 10, then we make a function like I just saw in that help thing there. Let's pull that up again. Where we, let me scroll down here. We just source all those R scripts in those subdirectories, and that'd be about it. So actually, this is kind of cool. I might copy this as a snippet to work with. So where should I put that? I'm gonna put it in the template version of app.r for now. Comment it out, of course, and then we'll probably tweak it to be a little more in the spirit of our package here. So. Yeah, so Chris, elaborating about the environments, I was just making sure that if I had, like, I could even do this now, if I had like a per walk of character vector of like page 1, page 2, etc., and then the body of that function is simply source that character thing and character thing with the .r at the end, that when it sources that script, it doesn't stay in that per kind of anonymous function, that all those objects or all those functions from these modules are available in the apps environment. So I mean, we'll find out if we can make this general approach work. We'll find out if this actually works. So in fact, since we'll save this for now, we'll go back to the Mega Man app. In fact, I'll just do this hard copy right now, and then we'll make sure the app actually works. Two. Okay, Tan, close your eyes for a second, but we're gonna temporarily change to this prototyping Mega Man reader. All right, let's do it. Yep. Okay, so that kind of worked, although I think my dark mode thing, actually that's not, why is the nav bar? Oh, did that bug from before? I'll have to remember that should have more than one tab on here. Let me try opening that externally and see if that replicates. Okay, so the nav bar is kind of messed up. That's a different, okay, so that might be another oddity here. Oh, package load. Yeah, that's a interesting thing we could look at. Yeah, let's take a look. I think that is from, is that from Use This? Or DevTools?
Oh, I'm a disgrace!
What the heck? Oh no, stop. Okay. I'm not that bad, Barney. Where is that from? I'll do a quick search. Oh, it's from the package load packet. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yep. Okay. No, I don't want the PDF. I always mistakenly when I do that. Okay, let's take a look at package load. Simulate the process of installing loading package without actually doing it. Okay. So let's see what yeah, so what Tan is saying here is there we go. Whoops. There we go. We're looking at package load all, which calls package load code. Okay, so let's find that. Load. Okay, let's see how they do this here. Load R code in the R directory. First time it's loaded, onload will be run if it exists, and just need a path. Oh, interesting. Oh, this is interesting. So they use a custom version of a wither function, wither, path, and they have another function called source many. I wonder where that is. Yeah, we're on to something here. Tan, as always, is winning here with the recommendations. Jackie, how are you doing? Great to see you virtually, and yeah, back at it for a little bit. I'll be pinning the hay pretty soon, but well, you know the right questions to ask. Like that's a skill, my friend. That's a skill. Okay, so here it is. Here's source many. That's an internal function, not exported, but they have source one. Oh my gosh, so they really went all over the place with their version of sourcing here. Read lines ENC. Source file copy. Wow. They get the expers out and then evaluate them. Wow. Oh, funny you say that, Jackie. Of course, I'm glad you're not having ill effects, but that's what I'm getting tomorrow. I'm getting mine, so I'm crossing my fingers that I have hopefully just a sore arm and not much else. So we'll see. Okay, now I gotta figure out what in the world. I don't really have to care as much about that piece of it, but if we could just do load code. In fact, I'm kind of curious if this works just with my directories here. First, we'll get rid of that craziness. Oops. And path. Oh, let's get our working directory back to where we want it to be. Yeah, now we should be back in business. I'm curious if this works. Well, I think we can modify the path, so that's what I'm going to try and do. So I'm going to say path equal typing Now, what does our environment say? That's the key. If that got those functions, well, actually, let's do a fresh one. We should always do a fresh one so we can confirm that that did what we wanted. Now let's keep an eye on the workspace up here. Let's see if that does it.
What is this? What are you doing?
Hey! What's that about? Oh, do I need DevTools load off? No. Air and source many paths. Is environment not true? Okay, well, maybe that didn't quite work as intended. Okay. Those were, but I kind of see what in general they're doing. They're kind of having a wrapper function. They wrote their own custom source scripts. So let's take a look at what load code has. Yeah, let's look at the actual docs. What? Did I not? Oh, package flow. Yeah, I always get. Oh, I think a config. What am I doing? I think this is probably specific to, like you said, even though they make the path generic, it sounds like it's kind of assuming. Well, does it really need to be in our directory? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like when I would do DevTools load all, it would unload stuff, load the new one, the new versions of it, so that if I made an update to a function, it would get the new version. So that's probably right. So Jeremy, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find a way to, if I have like an app that has these kind of subdirectories in it for each module, I call page 1, page 2, etc. We want an easy way to source all of these without having to hard code these individually. So we were exploring if the package load package, say package 5 times, had an elegant way of doing it, but I think it's probably got some stuff under the hood that's meant for more package development and not so much for sourcing these. That's kind of what I'm thinking too, Isomore, and welcome, by the way. Maybe we just pass the detours, which is kind of what I was thinking. I was going to dynamically search for how many detours had like the page name to it, because if I'm going to make them call it page 1, page 2, then I can actually do that. So I can tell you what I was thinking if we just want to play with this. We're in fs dir ls. This would be in the path of the app, and then it would be I always figure out, is it the glob or the regex? What did I do for the other time I did this? Where did I do that? Or did I even bother doing that? No, I'm not sure. Oh, that's the test script. No, I don't want that. What did I do before? Yeah, what did I do? Did I do a... No, I didn't do anything with that. Okay, well, we're gonna try it and see. We'll do it here first, so... Mega Man 3... Alright, and then we'll try the regex. And This will start with page, star, and of course I screw it up again. So, why do I always screw up regexes? Okay, try to glob instead. No, that's screwed up too. Alright, so see, it should pick these two things up. I do not know why with the FS I never get this right. Oh, is that... Well, I hope not, because I want the directories here. Like, I just want the... Like, I want it to return everything, no matter how many directories it has, just page... But maybe we can... Suppose we can try it. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's see. No, it's still not working. Regex is always something that I never get right. May refresh in memory of the differences. So like that this should be. We did the glob version. Could it just work like this? And that still doesn't work. Am I in the right spot? Yeah. Perhaps we can try that. I'll recurse, yeah. No, that still didn't work. Yeah, maybe, but I kind of remember for this we could do this kind of character, like the... Yeah, okay, good point. Let's just make sure that this part's working. I know we wrestled with this once before, and Yeah, so here's exactly what I'm talking about. So what we should have are these two. Like, I just want these two here, and whatever's inside them. So, like, first step, we just gotta get these two returned, and then we can recurse from that point on for all the R files in there. That's what I'm... Oh, is that because of the prefixing again? Oh. Oh, you're right, that's what happened last time. So, what this means is the regex should instead be something like this. Oh, we're just gonna hard code it now. No, that didn't work. It is the regex? Oh, really? Oh. Oh, there you go, okay. I always thought the caret thing was to say it started with that character, but maybe I goofed that. But okay, there we go. That's what I wanted, so... I always gotta remember, whenever you do like a dir ls or whatever, it still is using this full path of the stuff returned in that regex stuff. So curses the recurses. But yeah, let's try that. That is what I want. And now, instead of what's the other argument to it? Should be type. I want type equal file. Perfect. What we could do I wonder if we can be really slick with this and page. Yeah, that broke it. I'm being too greedy here. Or I can just chain this later on. What I want is, first, do we need the period here? No, we don't. Okay, so this is doing what I want. But what I was hoping to do is to say, okay, it's this, but maybe we have to filter it afterwards. Like, I just want the R scripts for it. But okay, well, let's not be too greedy here. So I'll put this in here for now, so now this is going to be working within the apps directory when it runs, so that's why for this should be just page star. And then type equal file. And then this, in theory, like before I do any filtering, I should call this module files. It's not theirs. Oops. That's unexpected. Or did I not do it up here? Hold on. Oh my god. Oh, it's over here, that's why. Okay. This should work. Of course, I always say should. Who knows? Okay. This will bork if this does not work the way I expect. Got it. Don't worry about this thing here. That's some esoteric Docker nonsense, so not worried about it. But we have it. Now, what's interesting is that it didn't. Actually, I'm not sure why it's printing that. Did I print that? No. Must be for something else. Oh, I did that here. I was being cute here. Okay. Yeah. So that, if I just wrap that into a function, or I keep it as is and tell the author not to change this, I can even just. Not sure if that's elegant or not, but this should just work no matter how many of these page things are there. Okay, so now this needs to go into our main template file, which is right here. And so we don't need this fancy thing. Now this is future proof to be, no matter how many of these are in here, it's going to source those module files in. So I think we're good shape for that. And of course now I know why this navigation thing didn't work, is because I only had one thing here called home. Okay, anyway, let's go back to this for a second. So, oh no, that's different. No, that's the same. How did I do this before? Did I never fix this yet? Because that's a big miss if I didn't. All I have is this? You're kidding. Oh, bizarre. Yeah, I never fixed that navbar thing, did I? Huh. Okay, well that's next. But what we'll do is we'll make sure that that for a fresh app, that app.r is the template version's being respected here. Yep, that should just go in like that. Let's do it.
What a load of garbage.
You don't have to be that mad about it. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so let's load everything just in case. You know, I'm having a long day when I can't remember what I called my function. Add shinylearning. Oh, that's bad. All right. Okay, let's see, did that do it? App test, check out app. Oh yeah, it's all there. Now, we're gonna have to do a similar thing eventually with this navbar thing, because that navbar needs to have as many of these pages, and I did realize that the hrefs are going to have to change for each of these page 1, page 2 functions. So we're not quite done yet. But what's nice is that this could be a template snippet and I just paste it in somewhere potentially. Or easier approach is that in this main app kind of template architecture, we have a supporting R script in addition to app.r that has basically this kind of stuff in. Maybe. But I need to make a note for myself about that first, because I will forget. Good night, Chris. I'm going to be heading off too in a little bit, but thanks for joining and great comments and questions, and yeah, hope you come back next time. So let's add some issues here, because I will definitely forget if I don't. Make, what do I want to call this? Kind of this snippet here. Alright. Fuel. It's not so much a module, it's the brochure. Page specific functions, dynamic. I'll add notes here because I definitely can't go by the title here. typical brochure apps. It's the following structure for the individual page elements. Hello, I'm back. We're real life sometimes. Let me finish writing this and then we're gonna call it a night. So that's the typical snippet. Now, need a way to dynamically generate these snippets based on how many pages are in the app. Apps with a dedicated function or other template tricks. Okay. This is definitely an enhancement that we need to happen to make all this work. Okay. We've at least solved the loading of the module files in the R itself. So we'll have to do the same thing with the nav links thing, which is already kind of broken, but we're gonna fix it one more time. I mean, make it better, I should say. So. Dynamically and or updated once new snapshots are updated. Perfect. Okay. I'm catching up to the chat. Sorry, I was sidetracked. But Daniel has the quote, the statement of the night. We need to deep fake my face on that Tron outfit. Actually, Unicorn Coder did do that for another screen or image that she sent. They sent a while back. So we should do that. That'd be fun. That would be absolutely fun. Okay. So, anything else I want to document before I close up shop here? That needs to be dynamic. This is dynamic. Once that's done, it's simply, oh, it's also this. Oh, goodness gracious. So lots of things need to change a little bit, but good thing we're finding them now. Sure. App. Expects the wrapper page functions to be inserted dynamically. Ideally, we could find a way to supply these as a list that could be updated with every new page snapshot. I'd imagine there's a way to do that, but I just don't know what it is yet. But throw it in here. Okay, so we've made ourselves like 3 new issues, but we at least made some parts of the creating snapshot better and figured out what needs to happen for next time. So small improvements, but you know, not bad at all. Now, a little teaser to a fun project that I'd like to work on either in parallel to this or after this, and it's not Shiny related. Actually, I will put Shiny in it, but the subject matter is not so much Shiny. Listening to the latest Linux Unplugged from Jupiter Broadcasting. They had an interview with David, and I'm blanking on his last name already, but I'll get to it in a little bit, about this pretty cool service called Podcast Index. It's kind of trying to be this decentralized way of tracking podcasts instead of relying on just things like the Apple Music Store, iTunes, or however you want to call it, or Spotify only, or other things like that. And not just like taking things like RSS feeds and making them better, but finding a way to even contribute, like the audience to contribute directly to the podcast, producers or hosts or creators, however you want to call it, in the easiest way possible without having to rely on other third-party services like Patreon, another one called Ko-fi. There's many others out there. And I find this really intriguing only because there is something that's kind of new like this. I think could be a lot of fun to put some data science approaches around it. So I've reached out to the team around this, and they said, hey, here's our API. Here's the database that we update every weekend with all the podcast information that are on here. And it's really kind of fun. So the docs are really professional. Like, they do a great job with kind of all their REST API definitions. And I had to play with their database. It's a SQLite database, and it's got a lot of great content in there. So, and I did discover there's one other person that's made a Shiny app for it. Where was it? Did I throw it in here somewhere? Or maybe I didn't throw that in yet. But yeah, there's some Shiny stuff already happening. It's very basic, and I might be able to team up with them to make the Shiny apps that are a front end to the data, a front end to the different pipelines that they're putting in here, making that even better. So fun little potential collaboration there. I'm looking forward to it. So okay, so I think we're gonna close up here. So once again, thanks everybody for joining, and as always, I get the best help from the audience here in the stream when I'm struggling my way for either regexes or sourcing stuff. You all always save me. So we'll see how I feel tomorrow. I'm not so sure, depending on the effect of the next jab, if you will. But if I'm good, I'll be back, and if not, I'll be back next week for sure. And like I said, also be on the lookout for the next Our Weekly Highlights podcast. Some information there, and who knows, maybe I'll restart some other efforts, depending on where that goes. So anyway, y'all have a great night. Daniel, best of luck with your dissertation revisions. Those can be painful, I know, but you're almost there, I'm sure. And yep, so thanks Daniel, Tan, Chris, Isomore, Jeremy for joining earlier, and then yeah, we'll see you next time. Look for more OBS like trickery as I try out new stuff, and I'll have a great night. See you later.